and welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Sierra and I am so glad I could have you here today because we have quite the exciting video planned. I dove into the depths of my Spotify playlist of every artist I have saved, followed, the music I've been listening to recently, and I found the songs that I think are just criminally underrated that more people need to know about. Like, your life will improve if you hear these songs. Trust me. And I am gonna come right off the bat and say that we do have some bigger names on this playlist, names that are very common in the household, Miss Taylor Swift for example, but I did try to choose songs from their discography that just weren't as well known, or just really weren't listened to or appreciated by the fandom enough. And I am going to be looking down a lot during this video. It's because I have my iPad queued up with my list of songs, and yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling and we're gonna get into this list. So we are going to start off with track number 1, which is by a band that I first heard of from America's Got Talent. They were on it quite a few seasons ago, but they just released a new album and it is so good. I cannot recommend this album enough, but I had to choose just one song from it. And if I was gonna recommend a song to people who have never heard any of their music before, I would recommend She's Got That. It is just such a banger. And it's just such an anthem to just get yourself pumped up. And keeping with the tracks to keep you pumped up, we have Sabrina Carpenter next on this list. So while I was going through her songs and her albums, I was so torn on choosing one from her Disney Channel days, like her first couple albums, or one of her newer songs. So I decided to compromise and do one in the middle. And this one's actually pretty well known if you're a Sabrina Carpenter fan, but if you're just getting into her, this is one you probably haven't heard yet, and that is Looking at Me. Next up on my list is a collab that is just simply not talked about enough for how iconic that is, and it is Lil Nas X and Miley Cyrus on the track Am I Dreaming? So next up, we are keeping with the huge household names, and we got a song from Dua Lipa's debut album, because there are some bangers on that album, but if I had to choose one, it would be Garden. Our next couple tracks are both by Miss BB Rexha, who is definitely more well known for her EDM collaborations, but her solo stuff is just as good. So from her album Expectations, I have her song Steady. We have her song Gateway Drug, which I was obsessed with this song when it first came out. It was on repeat. Keeping with our pop girlies, we have Miss Julia Michaels and her song Apple. Right from your fridge, come here and taste it. So I got Miss Zara Larsson, who is criminally underrated in the States. She had some songs blow up a while ago, which you would probably recognize if you heard them, but I have her song from her debut album, which is One Mississippi. Keeping with the theme of criminally underrated in the States, we have the girl group Little Mix. So I chose 2 songs from their LM5 album because the album as a whole is just underrated, but the songs on this album are so good. Like, if you like my recommendations, I highly suggest going back and just diving into the whole album. You won't regret it. But first off, we have Monster and Me. And then next, keeping with our girl power theme, we have Joan of Arc. Alright, next up on my list, as promised, is Miss Taylor Swift. You can't have a music recommendation list without Taylor Swift. And the truth of it is, everyone knows at least one Taylor Swift song. Whether you're a Swiftie, a casual fan, or you don't know her and don't choose to listen to her, everyone knows Shake It Off. That's just the truth of it. So I had quite the hard time choosing songs that I think a lot of people wouldn't know, and if you are a Swiftie, you're gonna know these songs. Like, you're just going to. But if you're just getting into Taylor Swift or you're a casual Swiftie, these are the underrated ones. So from her album, Red Taylor's Version, we have her collaboration with Ed Sheeran on Run. We can go where our eyes can take. This is a song that I genuinely want played at my wedding, and I really hope she re-records it. She hasn't yet, but fingers crossed it's on one of her feature ones or Droplet, and that is Crazier from the Hannah Montana movie soundtrack. So now we are transitioning into more of the mellow pop / folk section of my list, and we're going to start that off with Gracie Abrams and her song Difficult. And I have one more Gracie Abrams song on my list, and that is Feels Like. Moving on, this is definitely more folk pop. I'm definitely gonna butcher his name. I am so sorry. And I said that in the last video, and I still haven't learned how to pronounce his name correctly, which is my bad. But speaking of which, if you haven't seen my last video, you definitely should. I reacted to all the songs on Olivia Rodrigo's new album, Guts, and I will have it linked in the description box below. If you want to check that out, I'd really appreciate it. I'm really proud of that video. But yeah, we have Noah Kahan next on my list. I chose 2 songs from Stick Season because I'm basic like that. But honestly, if you like the 2 songs I'm about to recommend, his entire discography is amazing. I could not recommend it higher. I am obsessed with his music right now. It's legitimately all I've been listening to. So I chose some slightly deeper cuts from Stick Season because everybody knows Dial Drunk from TikTok. If you're on TikTok, you've definitely heard that song. But first up, we have All My Love. We'd shake the frame of your car. Now I know your name. And then the other song I chose is, if you asked me what my favorite song of his was, I would probably say this one because I love it. I don't know why. I can't really relate to it, but I just love it. And that is Orange Juice. See the craves as you pass through. Alright, so the next artist and song on my list is definitely one that you're not gonna have heard of. Like, the odds of you hearing of this band are just so low, but this is my favorite band, like, of all time. And they have an amazing discography. They only have 2 albums out as of right now, but if you like songs that are going to make you cry, I recommend this band, and that is Bad Flower. And if I had to choose one song to convince people to give this band a listen to, that would be their single, Promise Me, which is just a beautiful love story of growing old with your soulmate and eventually losing them. And it's so depressing, but it's such a beautiful song. So the next one is from a band that you might have heard of. They are pretty big, and that is Bring Me the Horizon. But I know a lot of people aren't the biggest fan of metal music or heavy music, and I'm gonna be completely honest, I love their metal stuff. But if you are just getting into the genre, I wanted to choose a song by them that you can listen to and still like, even if you're not a fan of that genre. And that is their song, One Day the Only Butterflies Left Will Be in Your Chest, which is a beautiful, beautiful song. So the next song is from the band Against the Current, and that is their song, That Won't Save Us. And then we have the band which I am obsessed with, and that is Hot Mulligan. And I had such a hard time picking a song by them to recommend, but I chose a song about growing older because I feel like that's something all of us can relate to, and that is their song, Backyard. Moving on, we have the band Waterparks, which I love. If you like fun, alt, sort of pop techno music, you're gonna love Waterparks. And I chose 2 songs from their newest album, Intellectual Property. I chose the song I was obsessed with for months, and that is Real Super Dark. And I also chose their song End of the Water. So our next couple of songs are from the band Half Alive, which have definitely gotten more traction in the last couple years, and I just recently remembered that this band even exists, and I went back and listened to them, and I was like, yeah, they're still good. So I chose two earlier songs. I chose Still Feel. And I chose one of my guilty pleasure songs, which is Tiptoes. So our next artist is the band Grayscale, and I decided to go with their most recently released song, which actually came out like last Friday, I'm pretty sure. And that is their song, Not Afraid to Die. And I had to include one of their older songs because I love all of their albums. And I decided to also go with their song, Just Right. Alright, you guys, we are almost at the end of our list. We have 3 songs left, and we are moving on to a new artist, and that is the band Camino, which I was surprised when I saw how many monthly Spotify listeners they had. I swore they had so many more, and hopefully they will because they deserve it. So I decided for this band as well to go with one of their newer songs, and I chose What Am I Missing? And then from their previous album, I chose One Last Cigarette. And now we are moving on to our last artist, and that is the band You Me at 6, and this beautiful, beautiful song, which is Take On the World. Alright, you guys, I put all of the songs on a Spotify playlist, and I linked it down below if you want to listen to the whole thing. If you like any of these songs, let me know in the comments down below. And if there's any songs you think I should listen to, let me know that too. I'd love to know. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!